This is in our front yard. This was our experimental wildflower collection here. We're amazed that it did this well this year. It's going to be interesting to see what it comes back like next spring, or if the deer eat it all up. You're on.
The things that I remember the most about growing up are, first of all the activities we did. My parents spent a lot of time in activities with all the kids. We had a tremendous swim team program. Daddy spent a lot of time teaching us how to play tennis, golf, ice skating, basketball, football, and it goes on and on and on. And how Mother and Daddy found the time with 8 kids to spend time individually is beyond me. These 2 boos themselves, there's just not enough time. The other thing I remember about growing up is all the supper time conversations. I think the storytelling came from Scott Meyer, Daddy's dad, and the political ambitions must have come from grandmother. I remember vividly having Sunday brunch at grandmother's house, and we talked about politics, the sermons at church, and I think that rubbed off on all the kids. But being able to sit after dinner with 8 kids and discuss any number of things and spend that time is quite a tribute. Right now in our fast-paced world, it's almost like we don't have time to do that anymore. Things like going to the Kinderhook farm and having mushroom hunts was a thing that I remember, and a thing that I've tried to carry over with our family. I think I'm the only person in the state of Colorado that goes mushroom hunting. And believe it or not, there are a few morel mushrooms in Colorado, but not like there are in Missouri. Other things that the family did, let's see, all the ice skating trips that we took in the wintertime. And I think my parents led more by example than they did any canned instruction from books. It's in vogue today for parents to read a lot of books about child rearing and those sorts of things. Bill and Joanne, I don't think, needed to do that. They set a good example for all the kids most of the time. Other traditions that I like to carry on, and again, the central theme is how they devoted their life to their children, are the times we spend around holidays. I think the time I get most homesick is around Thanksgiving and Christmas. What are some other traditions that I'd like to carry on? Well, again, where my dad found the time to teach us all golf and tennis and ice skating, I'll never know, but again, they spent a lot of time with the kids. The other thing that I appreciate about my childhood is that my parents never forced us into doing things. They never encouraged us strongly to take up any activity. Never told us what sports to play. They never told us what to study in college. I think they let us make our own mistakes. We grew up learning how to think for ourselves. And I think that takes a lot. I know it's there's a side of me that wants to push my kids into being these perfect little kids and telling them what to do all the time, and I don't think Bill and Joanne ever did that to us. They let us do things on our own, and as a result, I think we're all pretty independent. None of us are clones. We all kind of went our own ways. A couple more things that I remember and are somewhat homesick about. And again, leads back to the theme of my parents spending an enormous amount of time with the kids were a lot of the small things, like just jumping in the car and driving up Highway 79 and looking at the trees, or jumping in the car and watching birds along the highways, things like that. My parents also, anytime they had any free time, instead of taking a vacation and leaving the kids with someone else, of course nobody's going to take 8 kids, but they always took the kids on vacations. And how they managed to have a good time with as many as 8 kids and 2 adults in a station wagon driving in the hot Midwest, I'll never know, but somehow they turned out to be fun, and something we're going to try to do for our kids. So,
Do you like going to Papa and Joe's house?
Evan is a real ham, as you've seen.
What's your favorite thing about going to Papa and Joe's house, Evan? What are you looking forward to?
The dinners are really good.
The dinners are really good?
Oh,
Better than our dinners, huh?
We give Mom a hard time about cooking all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
And
I'm not the cook that
I
Joanne
think
is,
we were
that's for sure.
fortunate to grow up in a family where even with 8 kids we had gourmet meals every night. So I think to a certain extent we're spoiled. Okay, Brittany, what do you want to say to Papa and Joe?
I like to go to Papa and Joe's house.
Okay.
They're nice.
They're nice?
And
You like to play with all the cousins?
I like to
Yeah.
play with
Gabe
all
and
the
Ellie is my
cousins.
favorite.
Gabe and Ellie is my favorite too.
Rosie and Lee and Rennie and Camille. Another kind of talking along the theme of not forcing the kids to do anything, my daddy did give me one sage piece of advice, and when I was debating what to study in college, it was between being a forest ranger and being an engineer. And it was one of the few times Daddy said, you're nuts if you want to be a forest ranger, you need to be an engineer, and I think that's been good advice. I think another
Good thing.
incident that has made us a much stronger family are some of the more discouraging things that happened to me. They happen to me right now in my period in life. They'd be very discouraging, but back then as kids we barely knew anything was going on. I think let's look at Mom. Now, come on, we're on camera. Even though that the times when we sold the farm and the time that Daddy lost his job to Western Printing, it was just nothing happened. Everyone kept their sense of humor, and the job and the career just didn't seem that important to the family. What was important is that the family got along and had a good childhood, and I think that happened. For that and for all the time Mother and Daddy spent with the kids, and by devoting much of their 50 years in marriage to the kids, I'm very appreciative of, and I hope I can be as happy as parents as Pop and Joe were, and I hope to carry on a lot of their traditions, and I hope Evan and Brittany carry on those traditions to their babies.
Grandkids.
So let's say happy anniversary to Pop and Joe one more time.
And happy anniversary.
Okay, say hi to Jenny.
Hi, Jim.